What's up? Going on? Season 3, episode 5. Just now getting back to recording, again. We got quite a few big things that have been happening as the weeks have gone on. We're about 2.5 weeks past the last episode. So just to kick it off, Joe Musgrove throws the Padres' first ever no-hitter in 53 seasons. And then Julian Edelman retired. James Conner signs a 1 year with the Cardinals. Jamal Murray with the Denver Nuggets tours the ACL. He's out the rest of the way. Jadeveon Clowney signs a 1 year deal with the Browns. Carlos Rodon throws a no-hitter with the White Sox. He was about one up bat away from throwing a perfect game, and it was in the ninth inning when he gave it up. Alex Smith retired, and Orlando Brown just got traded to the Chiefs via a lot of draft picks. Orlando Brown was with the Baltimore Ravens. And then he just now got traded to the Chiefs like last night, I believe. There's a UFC title fight coming up. But let's jump back into the Musgrove throwing the Padres' first ever no-hitter in 53 seasons, which that is saying a lot for that organization. They're going through a lot of major changes. And for them to get that after so many years of having nothing, that's incredible. That team looks pretty solid. The National League West division looks very, very stacked. There is a lot of teams doing a lot better than they were projected to do. So Padres do have a very long road ahead of them for the rest of the season. As for right now, they're not looking like the top 2 team that they were projected to be, but they're gonna be contenders for sure. I do see that. So I wouldn't count them out. I don't think they're as good as they made them out to be. We'll have to see pending any injuries to other teams, and their team is for that. I think they had a scare at first. They did already have some injuries pop up, so they do have that struggle. It's been a struggle for them in the past and now. So well, hopefully they can keep up the good play. They are looking pretty solid. They're right there, tailing second place in the division. Right now it's the Giants, and then obviously top team in the MLB is still playing as the best team in the MLB. They're rolling. They're just, no one's really stopping them. They've had their few losses here and there, but they're going to be the team to beat for sure in the National League. So moving on to Julian Edelman retiring from the NFL. He said, based on his comments that he did make while making the decision, it happened about, I think from today, maybe I think about a week ago now, something like that. He basically said that the injuries have now caught up. He's done his time. He's won plenty of championships. He's lived the full NFL dream from being not even considered to be in the NFL to now one of the legendary wide receiver legends of this era. He obviously proved everyone wrong. He wasn't even I don't think he was even a wide receiver coming out of the the college realm of football. He was undrafted. He came out, proved himself, proved that he belongs, and it's just so he had some significant injuries that led to his retirement, and you have to respect that. That's usually how a lot of guys go out. They get tired of they get to a point, where they have to call it because of the amount of injuries they've gotten. So that's that, and I think he was an inspiration to a lot of people, including myself, and congratulations to him for that. James Conner signing a 1-year deal with the Cardinals. That's pretty big. I wouldn't say he's like the best running back, obviously, in the league. No. But is he a good asset to have on your offense? Yes. Did they add some depth to their offense? Yes, the Cardinals are adding some depth to their offense. They added some depth to their defense already. They're trying to become contenders. The NFC is very, 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 very strong contenders in the NFL. Especially the NFC West. Their whole division is now looking stacked. Seahawks, Niners, especially with the number 3 pick that they got. Cardinals, just they're all looking. The Rams, they just picked up Matthew Stafford. They're all looking super stacked. They're all looking ready to go. That's gonna be toe-to-toe battle. That whole division is, I think, is who's gonna represent the playoffs for the NFC. Like whoever comes out of the NFC West is gonna be the ones to, I think, get the job done and knock out the Buccaneers and Brady. I think the Buccaneers and Brady got maybe one more year left in the tank before all those guys are going to ask for huge contracts, and Brady's probably going to retire after that, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, besides the Bucs, the NFC's got the whole NFC West to worry about on that side of the NFL. AFC, obviously, we're going to jump into that here in just a second. But some unfortunate NBA news. Jamal Murray tore his ACL and is out, obviously, for the rest of the season. That really hurt the Denver Nuggets. That was a huge, huge piece to their team in order for them to make a run. They were looking like one of the favorites, and now that has happened, they lost a huge amount of their offense. So with him being gone, they're really hard to say that they're going to be a team to beat. Yes, they're still a very good team, but without him, they're missing a lot of offense. As for they're already proving that they're struggling without him. So with that being said, hopefully he has a good recovery and that he can make a comeback next season. They can carry on with their playoff hopes that they still have. They might be able to carry out without him. They definitely won't have him at all at any point in the playoffs, but I don't see them lasting very long. Jadeveon Clowney signing a 1 year with the Browns. That was a huge, huge move for the Browns. They have a super stacked defense now with him and can't think of the guy's name right now. Going totally blank. But yes, that defense is very stacked. If I remember the name, I'll probably blurt it out at some point during this episode. But right now, can't think of the guy's name. I know who he is. Just can't think of his name right now. But with that being said, the Browns are looking Super Bowl ready. Besides the Chiefs, the Browns, the Bills and the Chiefs. There's going to be a huge controversy on who's going to be worthy of being the Super Bowl representative of the AFC. I think the Browns, if they can add, like they're doing right now, adding little tiny pieces here and there, they do have a pretty solid chance. They are ranked as a top tier team. They're almost first in every category. So them bringing on Clowney is a huge up for them. They're looking real solid, adding him to their roster. And Carlos Rodon, I think, that's how you say his name. Don't quote me. But playing for the Chicago White Sox, had a perfect hitter going. I believe he had like 2 outs, something like that. I remember I was watching it. I can't remember the exact person that was up to bat, but he had a perfect game going, and then it went into a no-hitter. I think either Walker but he put a runner on base, not a hit. He didn't give up a hit. And then the next guy went up to bat and got the guy out, and that was that. I caught the last few innings of that game, and I was watching it because getting notifications left and right. I was off, and there was not a whole lot going on for me. Caught the last part of that game, and it was pretty cool to watch. Very intense moments. Crowd going crazy, getting ramped up. It was fun to watch. So already believe there's already 2 no-hitters in the last month. That's huge. That's hard to do. One of the guys almost threw a perfect game. Those are very, very rare. Perfect game is no hits, no walks, no beans, nothing. Just straight up. If they hit the ball and put it in play and you get the out, obviously, yeah. But perfect game, no hits, no walks, no beans, nothing. Just straight up. 27 up, 27 down. And it's really hard to accomplish, especially in the MLB. It's a very rare accomplishment, and when people do accomplish it, it's usually celebrated like a World Series win. Like, it's a huge deal to go that far and deep into a game. And it's one of the biggest accomplishments as a starting pitcher to have that on your resume, if you know what I mean. It's a big deal. And I was super bummed when he put that guy on, but hey, it is what it is, stuff happens. Alex Smith came out a few days ago and says he is retiring from the NFL, from being the number 1 draft pick in 2005 with the Niners, going all the way until now, especially with that injury and coming back and leading your team to the playoffs. Yes, they didn't make it all the way, but they went way farther than they ever expected that team to go. He did have some games where he had to sit out due to his leg and the sensitivity of it, and he wasn't even supposed to come back. He wasn't even supposed to be able to run, walk, none of that. For him to even come back out and lead his team as far as he did, not very next, but the first season back from the injury, that was a hell of a way to go out and retire. And at least he was able to come back from it, prove that he was able to come back, finish off his career with a playoff run. It doesn't get much better than that. Obviously, a Super Bowl win would have been more ideal, But he did a lot for the 3 organizations that he played for. The Niners, he took them to the playoffs multiple seasons. He took the Chiefs to the playoffs, almost to the Super Bowl. He carried the Niners. He carried the Chiefs. He carried the Washington football team while he was there, even though his stint there was shortened due to an injury. I wish that it wasn't, because he looked like he was he was on pace to be a contender again and to cause havoc. And he was through the ups and downs of his career, to watch what he did and how he handled it all is pretty amazing and inspiring to most. At least it was to me. I always say that. I would like to point it out that's how you should conduct yourself. Like, Alex Smith is a perfect example of how to be as a man and as a person anywhere, outside, even in sports, outside of sports. That is a prime example of how to be. So, with that being said, let's move on to the blockbuster deal that the Chiefs just finalized and conducted. It was huge. Didn't really dig into the whole detail that I read it, obviously, but I'm not going to sit here and talk about all the draft picks that they gave up in order to get this left tackle, Pro Bowl, young guy, really, really good. Really shocked that the Ravens gave up this guy, but they did receive a lot in return just to give him up. They received a quite lump sum of draft picks to get this guy. No players were given up by the Chiefs. I don't think so, like, at all. So they accomplished this trade by giving up nobody and picking up one guy and only giving away picks. So clearly they have one thing in mind. The Chiefs do. Super Bowl. More protection for Patrick Mahomes. Less of Patrick Mahomes running around. He got beat up really bad in the previous Super Bowl. They already had a pretty good O-line. Their O-line took some hits, I think, due to COVID, and they're taking the proper precautions, and they're loading up. They picked up Kyle Long, pulled him out of retirement. They picked up Orlando Brown. They have 2 Pro Bowl tackles on both sides of the O-line now. They have almost a full Pro Bowl O-line altogether now, because I want to say their center is as well. So they have all those pieces just on the offensive side of the ball. Their defense, obviously, they're going to pick something up probably in the draft. They're going to pick up, you got your off-season signings, all that stuff. They are a contender in this. Yeah, you guys can see my dog decided to show up. She's now part of the episode. And that pretty much concludes this episode. Thank you for listening and watching, however you catch my podcast. I appreciate you tuning in. You know what to do. Comment, like, share, review, rate. Do what you got to do. You can find me on basically any and all listening platforms. Go ahead and find me on YouTube. I have a Twitter and Instagram page, Let's Argue 49. Go ahead and give that a follow, obviously, to get the links from those pages and to find a way to get access to the podcast. I am trying, to get an episode released and out there every 2 weeks or so. Just kind of rolling with the punches, been kind of busy. And that pretty much wraps up everything that I had to say. Thank you for listening, and you know what to do from here.